I'm gon' ride, we gon' ride, who gon' slide, we gon' slide, they my guys, they my slimes.
Clip up the ride out.
I'm gon' ride, we gon' ride, who gon' slide, we gon' slide, they my guys, they my slimes.
All out when we ride out.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is should Manny Pacquiao retire? You saw the fight last night. I'm going to turn it over to Trill Dollar Bill. After seeing the fight last night, do you think Manny Pacquiao should retire?
No, I still listen. I really feel like preparation. I really feel like maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just holding on. I'm just holding on. I'm trying to hold on. But I just feel like just. It was just a bad night in the office. I didn't see him get outclassed. I didn't see him get, I just feel like maybe it was the wrong game plan. Maybe he was just, the layoff was too much, the 2-year layoff and then being in there. You hear me making all the excuses right now. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm doing. You don't have to remind me. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I just want to see Manny Pacquiao. He deserves that. Manny Pacquiao deserves one more shot at it, one more hurrah to never camp and really prepare for Ugas, because he wasn't preparing for Ugas. His mind was set on a Earl. When they brought up Ugas to him, he was like, there's nothing. This is another fight. And I think that mentality of being a great, eventually, sometimes, boxing will humble you sometimes, And I think maybe this was a humbling experience. Manny felt like I done seen it all. This is just another fight, and it wasn't, And maybe he just needed to prepare for Ugas and Ugas himself. So I would love to see Manny Pacquiao, get another shot at this, or another shot at redemption against Ugas, But maybe it is Father Time, but I just didn't see. I'm used to when a fighter they get, and I didn't see that. I didn't see him get beat up. I seen it being off, but I didn't see him get beat up. I think Manny Pacquiao deserves one more hurrah.
All right, Conspiracy.
All right, listen. Salute to Boxing Bros Philippines. I'm no disrespect.
You need a window? You need a window?
Nah, not maybe. I don't know. Kid might have to get my little, the views and opinions, but
Katie's out.
And I don't mean no disrespect. I understand y'all dealing with a funeral right now. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all in mourning, but man, my man Pacquiao need to retire, bro. I'm honest. And this is why. Yo, Trail, the reason why I disagree with you, that Pacquiao last night would not beat Earl Spence either. And to be honest, listen, Spence punches harder than Ugas. And when you think about it, both men are just taller, have more reach than Pacquiao. Pacquiao had no head movement, bro. Pacquiao was responding poorly to them shots. Even the jabs, my man's whole head was snapping back. I'm like, damn, what is going on? No angles, barely any foot movement. Combinations weren't as crispy as they used to be back in the days. Listen, if he's gonna stay in boxing, he can't be fighting these elite level guys. Now, listen, it wasn't like Ugas mocked, right? So I'm kind of entertaining allowing Pacquiao a rematch, but I'm being honest, the way he was talking at the end of the fight, sounds like he's done. He doesn't even sound like he really wants it, So, hey man, Pacquiao, this is what you should do, man. Get in that Legends League or something. Do an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather. I'm pretty sure y'all could generate a lot of money. Like people will want to see that. You know what I mean? But I don't want to see Pacquiao against Spence. I don't want to see Pacquiao against TC. I just don't feel like these guys should get an easy victory off of a shell of an old legend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like he'll do Pacquiao a disservice, man. So I think Pacquiao should retire, run for president, the Philippines. He's a hero over there. People love him. Like, he's done great for the sport. It'd be all right if hey, man, listen, it happens, man. So, yeah, man, Pacquiao, you should retire, bro. But if you want to stay in there, please don't fight these elite level guys, man. You lost a lot of things, man. Father Time has really taken over, and it shows. Like, at least, and this is another thing.
We're not even going to mention the layoff.
Yo, Trill, I can understand the layoff, but however, the head movement wasn't there, bro. This dude's been fighting since he was like a preteen.
The game plan, do you think he didn't respect him?
When you're getting old, like, you're like, I just don't see stuff no more. He's getting caught, and I'm like, bro, he's reacting crazy. Even shots he blocked, he's still like, oh, and I'm like, bro, it's all right, man. He's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's done.
I just got a question. Do you think, like what I was saying about feeling like you done seen it all, do you think that him using lack of head movement and certain things like that because he felt like he didn't have to against an opponent like Ugas, I just think he underestimated him? Do you think that going in there, it looks sometimes in that fight like Manny was just rushing in there to try to, go at him? Do you think that some of it was that? It's just the wrong game plan.
There could be Manny probably did underestimate Ugas, right? But however, once the fight's happening and my man was snapping your head back, you should have been like, all right, I gotta move out the way of this dude's jabs, yo. And then that right loopy, whatever hook type of thing he was throwing, like, I remember they were like, yo, hands up. They kept telling Pacquiao in the corner, hands up. I'm like, yo, what happened, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like the old even the Pacquiao that fought Keith Thurman would have did a better job than this. But another thing too, remember with the Pacquiao versus Thurman, that was a close fight also. But Pacquiao pulled off the knockdown in round 1. So that like solidified his victory. But remember, later on in those rounds, Keith Thurman was coming back and was hurting Pacquiao. Pacquiao had all kind of bumps and bruises on his face at the end of that fight.
So did Ugas.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I'm talking about the...
I'm sorry, just go ahead.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Keith Thurman fight. So when I seen that fight, I was like, remember, I gave Pacquiao, I was like, yo, salute to Pacquiao. He shocked the world. Yo, he's the GOAT for real. But when I seen that performance, I was like, you know what? Spence or Ugas could learn from that, right? And Pacquiao dropped Thurman because of, his mistake that he did with his legs. He kept his legs closed while he got pushed forward and got hit, and it was like a timber effect. Ugas has a better like Cuban style pedigree where he always maintains his leg distance. So Pacquiao couldn't just do what he did to Thurman to a Ugas. You know what I mean? And I think Pacquiao knew that going into the fight. So I don't think Pacquiao really underestimated Ugas. I just think he just didn't have the capability anymore. Just older. You know what I'm saying? Like he looked older too. Like I know but he looked older than the one when he was when he fought Thurman to Ugas. Like you see it, you know what I mean? So yeah, yo, Pacquiao, just become president of the Philippines, bro. Boxing is a good run, man. But
I agree, and I know everybody's gonna be like Trill with the excuses. Because I done tried to throw every last one of them out there. And it's not excuses, you know what I'm saying? Because I just think that Manny Pacquiao deserves, just that type of respect and that and the type of admiration I have for him. I just feel like he deserves every fair. What's the word I'm looking for? I just think
the benefit of the doubt, right? He deserves the benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
Yes, I totally believe because I don't want people that didn't see the fight to think that Manny Pacquiao got washed because I've never seen Ugas lumped up like that.
That is true too. Yeah, that is.
So I don't want people to think that Manny Pacquiao got washed and it was just the Manny Pacquiao that we haven't seen like that before. But Manny Pacquiao dished out a little bit of butt whooping himself, because it was.
That's another thing too. you clearly know Pacquiao got power.
Oh yeah, because
I was like, Ugas, get on him. But
it was not a it wasn't not a lot of things that Ugas could do. Not a lot. You get it?
These bumps, man. I'm telling you.
He definitely knotted him up in there. So
are you saying that you would convince Pacquiao to go for the rematch?
I wouldn't mind. I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt. I think Manny Pacquiao, after being off for two years and some change, I think and still being in there with a fighter like Ugas, who we all know, who's been robbed plenty of times.
And he's been on a winning streak since the loss against Porter.
And he beat Porter.
You already know.
Friends in high places. You know what I'm saying? And Porter only hates on the people that whooped him up before. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that falls on him, he has something hateful to say to him. Just check it. But if he wins and feels like he really won, he'll give him their props. But if he feels like a person got a one on him, he's gonna hate on him. And that's just Sean Porter. I'm not mad at him or the ugly suits. What I'm trying to say is that Pacquiao, you know, is a legend and he deserves the benefit of the doubt. And I wouldn't mind seeing him in there again.
Brief crooked finger interruption. Yo, you know what this dude Sean Porter said when they asked him, like, what was the fight with the Filipino kid? They were like, "What's your thoughts on the fight?" You know what this dude said? He getting paid at Fox. He said, "Oh, come check the Porter podcast on Tuesday." Bruh, somebody need to call him and be like, "Yo, the powers that be like, yo, bro, do that one more time, see what happens." You know what I mean? So. My fault. That was crazy.
He got friends in high places. As long as he you know, he good.
But
yeah. Look, for me, it was watching the fight. Should he retire? Yes, he should retire. But does he need to retire? No, he doesn't need to retire. If you watch the fight, I believe he was winning the earlier rounds, and I scored at 115-113, which means 7-5. So I gave 7 rounds to Ugas, 5 rounds to Manny Pacquiao. But there were some close rounds that I gave to Ugas based on landing clean, effective punches. And I felt like he landed the better punches in that round. And I think most people do. That's why he got the decision. And I want to salute the judges because, like, I think it was a fair decision. However, to paint the narrative that like Pacquiao was done, he was washed, whatever. What you had was a Manny Pacquiao that was in that ring, 42 years old, been fighting for 26 years, over 70 fights against Ugas, who had like 30 some odd fights, and still fought him that closely, taking the fight on 11 days notice. Who do you think needs more notice? The older dude? Shorter dude? Smaller dude? Or the guy who's less fights, younger, more to prove? Manny's going in there.
The same guy that has Manny Pacquiao's belt. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, you know, for me, I don't think he needs to fight anymore, and that's why I think he should retire. I think there's a certain level of hunger that comes with needing to win. Like, yeah, can you go hunting on a full stomach? Yeah, you can. But hunting on an empty stomach, it's like, you know what they say, like necessity is the mother of invention. When you need to succeed because, you know, failure, if you fail, then you're done. And you just look at that fight. Even Manny, I think, at some point realized I need to take risks to beat this dude. Like, I need to jump in more. I need to throw caution to the wind. But I feel like he wasn't willing to do that because he was hunting on a full stomach. He's Manny Pacquiao, the legend. He's Manny Pacquiao, the icon. You heard the crowd before he even walked to the ring. He didn't need the win. It would have been nice to have the win, but he didn't need the win. Whereas Ugas, this was the biggest win of his life. This is the biggest win of his career. This wouldn't even be in Manny's top 10 wins if he got it. I don't think. I mean, maybe in his top 10, but at the bottom. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's like Manny was hunting on a full stomach. It's just different level. Also, you gotta look at it like this. Hypothetically, if it was Earl Spence in that ring, if it was Terrence Crawford in that ring, would Manny have been willing to take the risk to get knocked out? Because beating those guys would have done more for his legacy than beating Ugas. You see what I'm saying? I just feel like Manny, to me, in a close fight where we all knew it was close, looked like somebody who was already accomplished. Looked like someone who was like, all right, I'm not going to take unnecessary risks because I don't have to. Whereas, like, when you have no choice, when you're like Ugas has no choice, there's no tomorrow for Ugas if he loses. It gets no bigger than that for Ugas. Manny can get whatever fight he wants tomorrow. Like, he's legend. So I'm saying that he should retire, not because he didn't look good, but I just feel like even watching, Manny did something to me that was telling that I didn't like as well. Remember when Manny was too friendly with opponents and Roach was getting mad and Roach was like, yo, Manny's too friendly with these dudes. Like, he don't want to knock these dudes out. Like, I'm getting mad with Manny. Manny's touching Ugas' gloves twice a round.
Twice.
Before every round.
And then another, boop. I'm like, fam, come on, son.
And I'm like, yo, you too friendly. You need to try to knock this dude out. Like, what are you doing? Like, so for me, it just seemed like a dude who was like, I don't know if his heart's in it like that anymore, to be honest with you. And so that's why I think he should retire. He didn't seem like he was willing to jump in and take the risk when it was obvious, like, yo, you need to go for it now. And he doesn't need to. And so I say this like, Manny Pacquiao's my dude. I feel like Manny Pacquiao, and like Trill brought up, we got Canelo, but the era of like that era, like, you know, the guys 40 and up, they're going. Canelo, luckily, is cut from that same cloth. Canelo's a different breed because Canelo's kind of like the bridge between the old guard and this new era. And so Canelo still got like the throwback mentality. But when I just look at Manny Pacquiao, I just see someone who's like heart's not in it no more. And even look at his wife during the fight. Look at the way she was reacting. Look at it. It's like, why? What more do you have to prove? I just put it to you like this. Beating Earl Spence would have been huge for Manny Pacquiao.
I got a
Beating
question.
Ugas does nothing. Go ahead, bro.
Didn't mean to cut you off, my bro, but I got a
No,
question.
go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
But just what you were saying, too, it made the question popped in my head. Do you think it's the fact of the matter of when you're an elite fighter like Manny Pacquiao, you need certain challenges to get up for? So like I was saying, and I think what you was also saying, too, I think that he would have performed differently if there was an Earl Spence in front of him. I just think that him looking at Ugas, I just don't think that was there. Like, he didn't get up for that fight. You know, it's been happening plenty times in boxing. When you get to a certain level, you need certain things to get up for. And I just think that it wasn't the TC, it wasn't the Earl. I just think it was Ugas, and he just, I want to say, not overlooked him, but just wasn't there, you know? And I that's what I was saying. Do you think that could have played a factor where he just couldn't get up for the Ugas fight? If it was a Earl or was a TC, we would have seen a different performance from a Manny Pacquiao. That can go to both gentlemen.
I'm going to say no, because his training camp, for the most part, was designed for Spence. It was just the last 2 weeks that Ugas became, you know, the replacement. So
yes,
his training camp was designed for Spence. So
that's what I'm saying.
A performance that would be designed for Spence, and I don't think that Pacquiao would have beat Spence either.
All right, so let me just answer your question. It had to play a role, Trill. You know why it had to play a role? Because you went from unifying, you went from the possibility of becoming a WBC, IBF, with your champion and reset status with the WBA, to fighting for a belt you already won 2 years ago. The same old belt that you took from Keith Thurman. So one, that's anticlimactic. Two, you went from a major pay-per-view with another guy who's actually sold pay-per-views, with another guy who actually has a fan base, to a guy who like nobody really knows like that, and he's been claiming everyone's ducking him and nobody wants to fight him. Which, by the way, nobody has fought him. And when he fought Sean Porter, I think he beat Sean Porter. You got this 42-year-old man saying, give me that guy on 11 days notice. That's some G stuff right there. So, but to me, what I'm saying is it has to be anticlimactic. That would be like me telling you, right, come do the show. You're doing the show. There's going to be 50,000 fans in the crowd, right? And I'm going to pay you, 50,000 fans in the crowd. I'm going to pay you 20 G's. Then 11 hours before the show, I tell you, okay, we got to change the venue. It's going to be 15,000 fans, and I can only pay you 5. Right? Is that not going to impact your performance?
Exactly.
Even if in your mind you think you're giving the best performance you can give, you're still impacted by it. Because you know why? Your energy would have been different if there was 50,000. Your energy would have been different if you knew once you finished the show, your check was going to say, 20,000. So all I'm saying to you is there's no way that couldn't have played a role psychologically in his mind and impacted the way he was doing things. I saw him signing autographs and hanging out with a bunch of people before the Ugas fight. Maybe if it's Spence, maybe if it's TC, he takes those hours before the fight more seriously. So I think 100% played a role.
Thank you. And that's why I believe that Manny Pacquiao should get a second shot. And that's what I was basing my thing off of. But y'all brothers got anything else to add?
No, I think I was in the middle of going. Basically, I just want to end with saying this. Manny Pacquiao's skill set hasn't faded to the point where he can't compete with the elite. Because even by your own admission, G, he was competitive with Ugas.
Yeah.
Without the head movement, without the foot angles, without any of that, he was competitive with Ugas. So he could still compete with the elite. But my thing is, I don't know if his heart's in it anymore. And I think a younger Manny Pacquiao would have done more to try to take that fight because it was in the balance. It was evident that it was slipping towards Ugas, and Manny didn't want to take those risks. And he doesn't need to. And that's what I mean about hunting on a full stomach. If that prey gets away, I'm already full. But when you need that to eat, you're not giving up until you get that. So I just think that's what it is.
So if Pacquiao stays in the game and fights Spence or TC, and those gentlemen beat Pacquiao, can they get the full credit of beating a Manny Pacquiao after his performance against Ugas?
I mean, I feel like if Manny Pacquiao can get a rematch, right, and Earl Spence does something smart, like if this eye was really as serious as they say it was, maybe he doesn't need to be jumping in with one of these elite guys. He needs to be taking up a tune-up before he gets in there. Maybe they can have a rematch and settle whatever they need to settle. Because, TC, he's going to do whatever he want to do. He ain't crossing the street no time soon. So, these fights can really, this fight can really happen again. And if they do fight a Manny Pacquiao, yeah, they need to get the credit they deserve for fighting a Manny Pacquiao. I just, for some odd reason, it just doesn't sit well on me. And I'm getting it from you guys too, from how y'all scored the card. Both of y'all had it just like how I had it, 115, 113. So I feel like it wasn't a wash. That wasn't a Manny Pacquiao that we are used to seeing, and I'm thinking maybe some of it had to do with because of the opponent that was in front of him. Yeah. But shout out to Manny. Yeah.
That's my dog right there. All right, look, I'm gonna answer a question like this, right? For me, none of them gets credit for beating Manny Pacquiao. If they beat him at this advanced stage in his career, let's be real. If Thurman would have beat Manny Pacquiao, we would have been saying you beat an old Manny Pacquiao. It was the fact that he beat Thurman that legitimized getting a victory over Manny Pacquiao, and he was competitive with Ugas. But Ugas ended up doing what we thought Keith Thurman should have done, which was, if anything, win a close decision. right? So it looks like Manny is the fading legendary superstar that most people thought he was going into going into the fight with Keith Thurman. However, he was able to pull that fight off. And I think that's just the legendary status of Manny. That's just the dog in Manny. One more hurrah. But you know what happens when you get one thrill? You got to chase another. Look at Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali getting what? I'm take on another one. I'm gonna take on another one. That's just what they do because these dudes are legends. They don't know. Like they all their life they've been doing the impossible. Say, Larry, you shouldn't fight Larry Holmes. He's still my sparring partner. You know, like I'm saying Muhammad Ali, you shouldn't fight Larry Holmes. He's still my sparring partner. You know, that's just the way it is. Like these dudes are legends. All they know is success and taking on challenges. That's what they do. But none of them get credit for beating Manny. If Ugas don't get credit for beating that version of Manny Pacquiao, you beat Manny with no foot speed, you beat Manny with no head movement. The benefit of beating Manny Pacquiao is you get fame off the name. So salute to Ugas. You probably got a little bit of fame off the name, but that's it.
So there's a lot going on in this conversation. You got to let us know how you feel in the comment section. And please like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. You know who we are. We're the Boxing Bros. Much love to both fighters.